Game 6 between the Rangers and the Astros. The Astros come to bat. One win from the World Series against Nathan Eovaldi. Huge jump. Alvarez and Altuve combine to get the Astros on the board quickly. No one pitch. At the wall, a lead bend, gone. They've taken the lead in Game 6. Bases loaded, one gone in the ninth. Stanek's 1-1. It is drilled on a line, left field, and gone. Adolis Garcia makes his statement, and the Rangers have their sights set on Game 7.
The two best words in sports, Game 7. We are less than 1 hour from first pitch here in Houston. I am joined, as always, by Alex Curry. Alex, we get a Game 7. Let's soak it all in and have ourselves a night.
The thing about Game 7s is that you literally throw the playbook out the window.
Yep.
Starters become relievers and closers. Managers and matchups are micromanages. And then good players become great players, and stars are born in games like tonight.
Yep.
But the question is, that everyone's wondering, is the trend going to continue where the road team continues to win?
That is the question, but the goal tonight is simple for the Rangers. End the drought and slay the dragon.
Woo!
In the drought, it's been 62 years since the Texas Rangers have been in existence. They have never, ever won a World Series in their history. They're the only team that can say both of those things. It's been 62 years, and it has never, ever happened. But they've come close. They've come just about as close as you can get, to be honest. One strike away in back-to-back innings in one World Series. Back-to-back years with bad losses in the World Series. This organization, this fan base, they've been tortured. There's no way around it. Coming so close, but just not quite getting there. Winning the division, or having the win in the grasp, losing it on the last day of the year. It's been years of this. It's been over a decade since, it's been almost a decade since they've been in the playoffs. They haven't been in the playoffs, Alex, since the Astros got on this historic run. Haven't even sniffed the playoffs. So that's where this starts. Next, you have to slay the dragon. The Rangers have become what many would say is the little brother of the Houston Astros. Now, I quite like little brothers. I actually feel bad for little brothers in that statement. But it's true. It is a popular statement.
That was big of you to say.
And I must admit that they've become the little brother in this rivalry. And not only has that happened, but they've had to watch that little brother become a dynasty. See, this is a story of perseverance for the little brother, where the little brother triumphs. That's why I'm okay telling it. But they've had to watch that little brother become a dynasty. Since 2017, we all know the story, 7 straight years getting to the ALCS, 4 World Series. They're 1 win away from getting to a 5th World Series in 7 years. But everyone outside of this area is rooting for the Texas Rangers because the Astros are the villain. Everybody loves to hate a villain. That's what the Astros are. But everybody has to admit how good and how dominant they have been. So let's start there. In the drought, slay the dragon. That's the deal for the Texas Rangers. What about for the Houston Astros? Well, they're on the cusp of a dynasty. A dynasty that I already believe they have, but one that if they get there and if they win another championship, they make it official to everyone. There's no more arguing it for anybody. Whether you love them or whether you hate them, there's no denying that they would be a dynasty. 5 World Series in 7 years. First team to do that since the 98 to 2003 New York Yankees. We all know the 98 to 03 Yankees. They are quite literally a dynasty. If you were to ask anybody about the all-time dynasties in sports, you'd mention that New York Yankees team as one of them. So we're at this point only able to mention this Houston Astros team with other dynasties. They're right there. They're on the cusp of that. Getting another AL championship here tonight would even further that conversation of dominance and of a dynasty and the Houston Astros have that at stake here tonight. So Game 7, right around the corner. It's all on the line. One guy that knows a little bit about Game 7s and pitched in a lot of them and is one of the best pitchers of all time in a Game 7, John Smoltz. I caught up with him to talk all about it. John, we got a Game 7, the two best words in sports, I feel like. Game 7. How pumped up are you for tonight?
Well, I am. It's a strange way to get to this Game 7, but it's been a strange series, been a strange year for both clubs. I would expect nothing else. I mean, everything that they do kind of mirrors each other in one way or another, with the exception of the bullpen. And I'll be honest, I have no idea what's going to happen. Normally, you got some trends, you got some flows. This thing, throw the book away on everything there is to know about a Game 7. Someone's going to be a hero, and someone's going to break this tie, a virtual tie.
John, you're no stranger to Game 7s, pitching in Game 7s. There's only 3 pitchers that have 20 or more innings pitched in a Game 7, and you have a sub-1 ERA in those. What is it about Game 7s for pitchers, for the teams? Where are the nerves at on days like this?
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you mentioned the pitching is going to be totally different, opposite personalities and demeanors. I think for Javier, it works well that he has a slow heartbeat. It works well that this is the way he is every single game that he pitches. Obviously, for Max Scherzer, he's a high-intensity, high-level pitcher that gets after it emotionally. That can be good. That can be bad. For me, about Game 7s is you got to find a way to have a slow heartbeat. You got to find a way to know that you are pitching a game that determines, in this case, going to the World Series, and you want to be at your best. So I always believe that you should, as a kid, want to pitch Game 7s, which I did.
Yeah.
I played 100 of them in my mind. But you really have to have the formula of the game that slows down for each pitcher. The best will be the one that has the most success, because you got to imagine that hitters are going to get a little anxious. They're maybe get a little more aggressive. But the one thing I can tell you, all the advantage should go to the Houston Astros because they've been there, done that. But it always comes down to that experience, putting yourself in a position to utilize that. You have to execute, and that's what Game 7 is all about.
How were you feeling in those moments, especially the ones you're on the mound? Are you more nervous for those? Do you try and lock in? Do the nerves go away after you throw the first pitch? From you waking up to starting the game, where are your nerves at on a Game 7?
Yeah, I was a little bit different. I was talking about this the other day. I sleep late. I don't think about the game the night before. I don't even think about the game when I get to the park. Obviously, you know who you're pitching against, and you've done your work leading into it. I saved all my energy for when I got out to the bullpen mound. I'm like, this is what I get to do, not that I have to do.
Yeah.
Meaning, there's a big difference. You get to pitch a Game 7. You get to lead your team to the World Series or win the World Series. And I enjoyed every moment of it, even though most of those games were on the road for me, and you want to keep the crowd at a dull roar. So your team gets a chance to get the first crack offensively, but then you have to go out and set the tone as a pitcher. And I think your team feeds off of it. Either team is going to know right away, oh, shoot, we got to score a lot of runs, or, oh, we only need a couple.
I mean, there are so many things that come into play for a Game 7. As Smoltz said, the Astros have the experience. They should have the upper hand here. But as we've seen in this series, the road team has won every game in this series. And as history has told us, the home teams have lost 5 of the last 6 Game 7. So there is so much at stake here on the line for both of these teams. And we have a rematch on the mound from Game 3. So let's take a look at the pitching matchup. Astros have Christian Javier, who has been absolutely incredible in the postseason, going up against Max Scherzer, who, as we saw in Game 3, a little bit of rust after not pitching for a month.
Yeah, this is an interesting matchup for me. One, Christian Javier didn't have a great regular season, but he has had a dominant postseason. He's the third pitcher in postseason history to go 4-0 with an ERA under 1 in his first 4 career postseason starts. Now, a lot of that has come on the road. Most of his postseason damage has been done on the road. We're obviously not on the road here tonight. We're here in Houston. How's he going to do on this home mound? We will see. But I'm really excited to watch him pitch. One of the best postseason pitchers in a small sample size in the postseason. Now, Max Scherzer, on the other hand, one of the best pitchers of all time. He's pitched in Game 7s. In fact, in 2019, the last time that it's Game 7, and the first time in history that in a 7-game series, the road team won every single game. Tonight has a chance to become the second time that's ever happened. Max Scherzer is back on the mound for Game 7. He was for the Nationals, and he is here tonight for the Texas Rangers. There's so many question marks, though, when it comes to Max Scherzer. Will that rust still be there? The answer there is going to be yes. He's not going to be his Hall of Fame locked-in self. He hasn't pitched in a long time besides the other day in his first start of this series. Where that showed up to me was the off-speed. His fastball had that life and the velocity that we normally see with it, but his off-speed stuff, the slider, it was a little hit or miss. The movement was there, but he couldn't quite find the command with it in the location. How's Max going to be tonight on the mound in this huge game? I don't know. But that's kind of what adds to the beauty of this Game 7. There are so many question marks here at play, and Max Scherzer being probably the biggest of those. If he can dominate, if he can pitch well, I think the Rangers absolutely can win this ball game. If not, the Astros are going to have a big upper hand. But as always, before the game, I caught up with John Smoltz to ask him about tonight's pitching matchup. Game 7. I need your deciding factor of the game tonight. What do you think? What do you think is the deciding factor here tonight?
I think the deciding factor, it sounds like a cliche a little bit, but the teams that have taken care of the runners on base, meaning they get the big hit. You got to score when the runs are at a high percentage, like bases loaded, nobody out, you got to score.
Yeah.
First and second, nobody out, you have to score. And the teams that do that create such pressure. But when you can get out of those jams, there's an energy boost for your club. And I think the really deciding factor is going to be, can either offense go to what they're really good at during the regular season? That's runners in scoring position. We've seen Texas go dormant. Then last night, they woke up. Something about the road, again, I don't know. This is almost, I said last time we did a World Series that neither team won the home game. Mark this on your calendar because this will never happen again.
I think we saw it last night. I thought a big swing was in the first inning. The Astros ended up scoring one, but I felt like the Rangers came out of that with the momentum because that could have gotten out of hand. It could have been 3-4 runs very quickly. You come out of it 1-0. Eovaldi settled in from there. You got to capitalize when the opportunities are right in front of you.
No doubt. I saw some huge swings last night out of Texas, and then, of course, you can see a swing with a grand slam after striking out 4 times. These kind of moments, your hitters have to lock in and can't get too big. You don't see that on the Houston side. They may not always score, but you don't see them expanding the zone or getting too big. So the Stars have to show up. I don't know how many pitches I would throw to Alvarez, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be the big thing for me to watch because he's been so good, so locked in. We know what Altuve does. But I'm telling you, if there's a base open, even if it's first and second and there's a third base open, I'd be real tempted to pitch around him.
I think we saw Bochy tip his hand a little bit there last night with a runner on first. I think especially with Kyle Tucker struggling a little bit behind him, the lineup isn't as long as it usually is. So we saw Bochy with a runner on first. Eovaldi got behind just a little bit, and he's like, just put him on base.
Yeah,
and
that's
we
what
might
you may
see
see
more
tonight.
Yep. So, John, Game 7, enjoy it up here, my friend.
I will.
That was John Smoltz on tonight's deciding factor of this Game 7. Let's hear him now talk about tonight's pitching matchup. Pitching matchup tonight, Christian Javier, Max Scherzer. What are you watching out for in this matchup tonight?
I think the biggest thing is going to be the command for Javier. He's such a great fastball pitcher. He throws up a lot. If he gets that upper tier of that strike zone, that's a great thing for him. He's got a really deadly changeup. We didn't see a whole lot of him last game. His slider and curveball combination is great. He has everything you need to dominate a game, which, by the way, he's done, mostly on the road. And I think for Scherzer, it's whether or not he has that slider command. He has to have the put-away pitch because fastball is not going to be an issue. He's going to rev up the engines with his fastball, but does he have his secondary touch? That's the telltale sign you see right away is whether a guy is amped up, too amped up, and will he have that touch pitch because you need him against this lineup.
What did you see from Max in his first start back with over a month of missed time? Fastball-wise, slider-wise, did anything look a little rusty from Max in the first start?
The slider looked a little rusty. It looked like there was some rust in situations he would normally handle. 0-2, he hit a batter, a wild pitch. There's some things that you don't see out of a guy who's pitching every 5 days. Having 35 days off, you see that from him. I think this time around, as long as he's rebounded, I think the biggest key will be his slider. He's got that curveball that changes speeds and a changeup. But to me, the angle at which he throws his slider against these hitters is going to be huge.
Now, we know the Astros have a lot of experience in the postseason. But when you look at both of these managers. Both of these legendary managers have a lot of Game 7 experience, starting with Bruce Bochy, who has never lost a Game 7. Then on the other side, you have Dusty Baker, who has never won a Game 7 in their coaching careers. How do you think that comes into play here tonight?
Look, I think a lot of that is a lot of fluff that people like to talk about, right? But you can't argue with certain things. Dusty Baker's never won a Game 7. Bruce Bochy, obviously 5-0, all-time record in winner-take-all games. You'd obviously take Bruce Bochy's side there. Bruce Bochy's been there. He's done that. Dusty Baker's also been there. He hasn't quite done that. But these are two legendary managers. Let's not get that confused. And I think we've seen that play out in this series. Look, over the last few years, when it comes to specifically pitching matchups, we've seen a lot of managers pushing that panic button, doing things that leave you scratching your head. How many decisions in this series have been made that have left you saying, what, why? What is he doing? Why is he doing that right now? Not a lot. The quieter those conversations are, is typically because that's the better the manager is, right? It's like an umpire. The umpire did his best work if you do not know his name by the end of the night. That's when they've done a good job. If you're hearing all about him, it ain't good. We haven't been talking a lot about the bad decisions that have been made because there really haven't been. And that shouldn't be a shock to anyone because these two managers that are out there tonight in this Game 7, Bruce Bochy and Dusty Baker, are two of the best to ever do it, two Hall of Famers, and they're teams that rubs off on your confidence, right? This isn't a first-year manager that's constantly paranoid in the dugout. No, Dusty Baker's going to be in the dugout, his feet kicked up, the toothpick in his mouth, and he's just going to be watching and taking score like he does every single night. So nothing changes here tonight, but we do get to watch two great managers be in an all-time game.
Two World Series winning managers. Let's start, though, with the Rangers, and let's take a look at the roster, who they have out there tonight. Who is going to be your player to watch?
This lineup is their typical lineup against the right-handed pitcher, so Evan Carter back there in the 3-hole. To me, I got to go Max Scherzer,
yeah.
Alex. I mean, it all comes down to him, really. This series has been about depth, and where have the Astros been able to take advantage? When it comes to the depth. When it came to Games 3 and 4 of this series. Game 5, where the depth got back into play for the Rangers just blew it late. But this one is huge because you get Max Scherzer on the mound, but there's so many question marks. So obviously for me, he's my player to watch. Is he going to come out and be still rusty? Probably a little bit. Can he be effective? Absolutely he can. But how effective will he be? Will he be good in his second start back from injury? Time will tell, but I'm watching him tonight.
My player to watch is Corey Seager. This is his time to step up and be the star for this team. He was the NLCS MVP in 2020. He went on to a Game 7 and won a Game 7 in the World Series. He has been here before. He knows how to get to the top of the mountain and be that champion. And he needs to step up as a leader of this team, as someone who knows what to do, under the pressure, and has been here before.
Absolutely. And I think that's the important thing to remember here. A lot of people are saying the Houston Astros have all the experience.
Yeah.
They're the team that's been here for the last 7 years, not the Texas Rangers. Well, that might be true as an organization, but the players that are on this team have been there. A lot of them, in fact. Max Scherzer, Corey Seager, Marcus Simeon's been in the playoffs, Eovaldi, who I don't think we will see tonight. But a lot of these guys do have experience. So just because they're on a new team, yeah, the organization hasn't been here, but they have guys in that locker room that are leaders of this team that have been there and I think can rise to the occasion.
I mean, he literally has been in this exact moment in the NLCS. Game 7, won Game 7 to send the Dodgers to the World Series, where they ended up going on to win the World Series. So this is where experience matters, and this is where great players need to be superstars. But now let's move to the Astros lineup, a team that has been here many times. They have all the experience. Who are you watching tonight?
So again, typical lineup for the Astros against a right-handed pitcher, except for Chas McCormick. So we see Mauricio Dubon out of the lineup. Chas McCormick is in the lineup. That's a big change for the Astros tonight. For me, I'm watching Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker, where are you?
Yeah.
What's happening? One of the greatest players for the Astros in the regular season, a perennial over the last couple of years, MVP candidate. Now, he's had some good swings and some bad luck in this series, but by and large, struggling big time. Last night was a real struggle, some really bad swings. I think he's in his head a little bit, hitting 143 in the postseason. That ain't got to cut it. Kyle Tucker needs to be better. I think he can be, but we will see here tonight. I'm keeping my eye on him.
I'm keeping an eye on Christian Javier. We've seen it throughout this series. The team that scores a lot early first usually went on to win the game. That didn't happen last night. That was one time it didn't. But he has been great in the postseason. He needs to continue to do that. I mean, he has 12 strikeouts in 10 innings pitched, 1.69 ERA. If he can continue to do something like that here tonight in the biggest game of the season for the Astros and find a way to just manage and keep the Rangers bats quiet, at least through the fifth inning, I think the Astros have a chance here.
Yep.
Game prediction time, Ben.
All right, so this one's going to be interesting for me. It's a Game 7. It's a coin flip of a series. First off, deciding factor for me tonight, Alex, is a big one. Who can get a lead early, and which team will build, I think, an early lead? And by build a lead, I don't just mean one run, like we saw from the Astros last night. I think they got to build a lead, or any team. Maybe a couple runs, and then the pressure creeps in on the other team. One run doesn't feel like much. 2 runs in a game like this feels monumental. My game prediction tonight, I think the Houston Astros take this one by a final score of 6-2 and advance to the World Series.
So we're both picking against the trend of the road team winning every single game in this series. I am also choosing the Astros to win Game 7, win their first home game of this series, and get back to a World Series, a final of 5-4.
5-4. I don't know if my heart can handle that, Alex.
It's gonna be close. It's gonna be wild, and it's gonna be close.
I will be an absolute mess.
I know.
By the way, speaking of pregame, we handed out free beer to people for just coming up, saying hi, showing that they were subscribers of Flippin' Bats. And that beer, well, we have a video of that, but we also have a lot more coming up as well of exactly how we got here in this series. But Alex, Game 7 is on deck. The 2 best words in sports. Game 7, it is going to be wild. The vibes are already high here in Houston. It's going to be nuts. But how did we get here and how much beer was drank? We got a couple videos for you. Enjoy the game. We will be back post-game. Check this out.
It's awful as a sports fan when your biggest rival has other bigger rivals than you. When you hate a team and they don't hate you back or even think about you at all. If Rangers fans were being honest, this would describe their feelings about the quote-unquote rivalry with the Astros since 2017 when the Astros won the World Series.
The Rangers represent the state of Texas in the title, but the other team from Texas would go to 7 straight MLB playoff championship series and 4 World Series. The Astros would ascend into a dynastic team while the Rangers, who made the playoffs in 2016, the year prior, would go in, well, the opposite direction.
For Astros fans, to the extent there was a rivalry since 2017, it was purely regional. 2 teams connected by a 3.5-hour drive on I-45. The most exciting feature of this rivalry for fans may have been stopping at the Buc-ee's in Madisonville. If they did make the drive, they called the Rangers' home field Minute Maid North with a sly smile.
There's a fly ball to left field, and Jonah Heim hits it out. There's that power you're talking about.
However, last Sunday, that all changed when the Texas Rangers walked into the real Minute Maid Park in Houston and stole the opening 2 games on the road. Astros fans were stunned. But have no fear, Astro fans said, we're better on the road anyway. Chas McCormick told us,
I feel like we're in the driver's seat.
And to the fans' credit, and Chaz's credit, they drove up to Arlington, their so-called Minute Maid North, capping 3 straight road wins with a dramatic 9th-inning comeback, courtesy of Jose Altuve.
Jose Altuve finds it. It is gone.
You've been saying something saying every podcast.
Let's say it together.
The
Astros are inevitable.
In a back and forth like this, on this stage, between two teams from the same state, there would already be drama. But what happened in Game 5 changed everything.
Adolis Garcia drives the ball in the air to deep left center field. It is gone!
When Brian Abreu hit Adolis Garcia with a pitch, thought to be intentional by Garcia, who turned and got in Martin Maldonado's face. Benches cleared, words were exchanged, and Maldonado would credit the moment for waking up the Astros.
The worst thing he did was wake up the Houston Astros.
It didn't fire us up. Honestly, it pissed us off.
However, it may have also woken up Garcia. After going 0 for 4 with 4 punch-outs in his return to Houston for Game 6, Garcia would quite literally send fans home after hitting a line drive grand slam in the top of the 9th inning.
Bases loaded, 1 gone in the 9th. Stanix 1-1 is drilled on a line, left field and gone! Adolis Garcia makes his statement, and the Rangers have their sights set on Game 7.
Once again, he pimped it, and Astros fans reacted like they would towards a heated rival?
Which brings us to today. A series tied 3-3. Rangers fans currently pit stopping at Buc-ee's in Madisonville on their way to Houston. And no matter what happens tonight, a rivalry has been reborn.
Game 7 is right around the corner. Alex and I have spent so much time in Houston that we today want to give back to the fans. So we are giving away
Free beer. You know, everyone's a little nervous before a Game 7, so why not give the fans some liquid courage? All you have to do is they're coming to say hi to us. They're going to give Flippin Bats a follow and a subscribe. And who doesn't want free beer? And we have our first one right here. We actually have fans waiting and ready to get it going.
You know who needs the free beer today?
You.
This guy. I am a mess. So this will be fun and a bit of a distraction. So let's give away some free beer.
Let's go. We're spreading some beer joy. Liquid courage. Enthusiasm. Good luck beers. Happy beers. Sad beers. No one really knows because it's Game 7 and anything can happen. Ben's just being a celebrity over there. What would you sacrifice for another Astros World Series win?
Wow, that's hard to tell. What are my choices?
You can choose anything. And if they do win, maybe how would you celebrate if that's easier for you?
I might actually go to the parade this time. I've been too scared to go to the parades in the past.
You gotta go to the parade if they win.
We'll see.
All right.
I definitely say the parade. I would take off at work for the parade because the last time I wasn't able to, so.
Worth it. Let's hope they get there. First of all, where is your nerve level at right now for Game 7?
Extremely high, 10, all day since yesterday.
So this beer's going to help.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, before you get the beer, I have to ask, what would you sacrifice for another Astros World Series title?
Dang. Honestly, y'all name it, I'll do it. Like, I don't care what it is, but anything. My car.
Whoa.
Not this beer, though.
Not the beer.
Not the beer. Let's go get her the
I
beer.
need a new car anyways.
Let's see what you're getting. Take a pick. Choose a beer, and then you got to show them your ID. Yeah. Take a little ultra.
That's my ID.
Sorry.
He's holding everything.
She needs your ID.
Right, to the right, to the right, to the left, to the left, to the left.
Oh. Grab and go.
Wow, this is great. This works out great.
You're welcome. Game 7, anything can happen tonight. How nervous are you heading into this game?
I'm confident.
Oh.
I'm confident. We're ready for Game 7. Game 7, the Astros have Game 7.
I need something from you that you would sacrifice for another Astros championship.
I'm not giving up anything to my Astros. We're going to win.
Okay. All right, deal.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's Game 7. Obviously, anything can happen. Where is our nerve level right now?
None. Zero.
Whoa.
Zero
I'm not
nerve.
afraid of these guys. I'm at high level, highest. What do you got?
Nerves? You're high nerves?
The top, yeah.
So no nerves. I'm freaking out, man.
Can't lose to
I'm
Dallas.
freaking out.
All right.
Arlington, Fort Worth,
Rangers, wherever they are.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It all comes down to tonight, Game 7 to advance to the World Series. What would you both sacrifice for another Houston Astros World Series?
The Houston Texans. You should have just interviewed him. I don't know.
That's a good one. I like that.
Great. So it's Game 7. We know the nerves are high. Anything can happen. How nervous are you feeling right now?
I'm extremely nervous right now because El Reptil should have his stuff, and he was dynamite last time. Whatever he had in 22, it appears he's got that back. So I just hope he keeps that up.
Game 7, ALCS on the line to go to the World Series. What is something you would sacrifice for another Astros World Series championship?
Something I would sacrifice for another World Series championship.
Champion win.
Man, I don't know. I'd probably name my next kid after the winning pitcher.
I like that.
That's nice.
I like that
That's
a lot.
Great one. Game 7. A lot on the line tonight. How nervous are we right now?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm nervous. Rangers have looked really good here at our own home, and you'd be lying to yourself if you weren't nervous about the Rangers' offense. You would be lying to yourself.
Yeah. Same. Yeah, we're pretty nervous.
Yes.
I need something that you would sacrifice for another Houston Astros World Series.
Oh my gosh, my left oblique.
Whoa! Wow.
Yeah, that's what the Astros. It's an oblique thing. That's what the Astros early on.
You know what they say? Who needs the left oblique, right?
This is for Jordan. It's for Jordan.
All right, enjoy the free beer.
Perfect. Game 7. A lot on the line. How nervous are you right now?
Nervous don't even exist.
Ooh.
No.
Confident.
See, it's the Astros we're talking about. See, we know how to pull it through. So ain't no ifs, buts about it. You see what I'm saying? It's guaranteed today.
Love that.
I like that. All right, I need something that you're willing to sacrifice for another Houston Astros World Series.
How about you name it? I'll sacrifice anything.
Anything.
Anything. For, let me see.
Car? House?
No.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, car and house. Now you get a beer at least.
All right.
There it is. Good omen. It's a good omen. That does it. We gave away a lot of free beer here today.
I think we gave a lot of, what would you call it? Liquid courage to all the Astro fans out there. They're feeling confident. They're feeling great because why?
The Astros are inevitable.
But how are you feeling?
But that doesn't at all calm my nerves. But what might is some of this beer. So thank you all for everybody that came over. This was a lot of fun. I need this. Game 7 is on deck. Let's do it.
And the turns have led to this. It is Game 7 from downtown Houston, Texas. Welcome to the 2023 American League Championship Series on Fox, presented by Loan Depot. And we welcome you inside with the Hall of Famer John Smoltz, who pitched in 3 Game 7s. I'm Joe Davis, and look, this is where this thing was headed all along, isn't it? These teams were tied after 162 games during the regular season. They are tied after 6 games in this championship series. And so, John, we get one of the great things that sports can offer, a Game 7.
It is absolutely the greatest thing in the world if you allow it to be the greatest thing in the world. Of course, these two teams, you got the defending champs. They've thrown some punches, but nobody's taken more punches than the Texas Rangers. It has been an unbelievable route to get here, and I have no idea who's going to win this game. You know why? Because it's even. The season was even. The series is even. Not one team has won a home game. The hits are even. The OPS. This is crazy. This is going to be a fun game to watch.
And, of course, central to any Game 7 plot is the starting pitchers. Tell us about the guys starting tonight.
Well, the starting pitchers have all the pressure on them, and whoever comes out really approaching this game with a slow heartbeat is going to be the one that does well. And I think nobody does it better than Javier. Slow heartbeat, cool customer, electric fastball. It's all about that touch, the secondary pitches. For Max Scherzer, it's the opposite. The heartbeat is going to be racing. He's going to give them everything he has. Of course, he only made the one start in 35 days. This will be about who can make this game the calmest. Who can be the slowest heartbeat will be successful.
For years, these teams have been playing for the silver boot. Tonight, they play for the American League pennant. After 162-game journey, this thrill ride of a championship series comes down to this. It's the Rangers. It's the Astros. Game 7 is next on Fox.
Take 6. Ready 4. Take 4. Watch it 8. Ready 8. Take 8.
Tonight, Game 7. Playing for the pennant. Every sense alive. See. Touch. Listen to them. Smell what's cooking in the Lone Star State. Tar, laces, leather. Anthem, umps, the blast of bats. A title so near, you can taste the champagne. Two lifers, their clubs cool, bringing heat. Heightened senses.
The benches are clearing in the American League Championship Series.
From chaotic to euphoric on one October night. The Astros, the Rangers, sensing every second. The ALCS Game 7 on Fox.
And a big thank you to Texas native and award-winning actor, director, and producer Owen Wilson, who was born in Dallas and attended UT Austin, getting us teed up for this Game 7. First pitch just minutes away. Gives us time to go down to the field with the guys. Here's Ken Rosenthal.
Thanks, Joe. A young girl in the stands last night held up a sign that said, "Free Brian Abreu." She got her wish. An arbitrator upheld Abreu's 2-game suspension, but deferred it to next season. Abreu's presence in the Astros bullpen lessens the need for Justin Verlander to possibly pitch in relief. That's something Dusty Baker does not want to do. Verlander is 40, had Tommy John surgery in 2020. For the Rangers, Jordan Montgomery is a different story. Bruce Bochy plans to use him out of the pen, possibly for Yordan Alvarez in a critical matchup, but preferably for a clean inning. Now over to Tom Verducci.
Thanks, Ken. Game 7. Two of the most magical words in baseball. A fan's dream, a player's opportunity of a lifetime, and in the hands of a manager, wet clay. No game requires more creative thinking, and these managers know it. Bruce Bochy, 68 years old, 5-0 in winner-take-all games, including 2-0 in Game 7s. Dusty Baker, 74 years old, 2-7 in winner-take-all games, and 0-3 in Game 7s. The game is played differently. It is managed differently. That's because tonight, the American League pennant is on the line with every pitch, every hit, and every decision. Joe.
All right, Tom, two future Hall of Fame managers going head-to-head in this Game 7. As the Rangers offense, after scoring 9 runs to force this Game 7, comes up looking like this today. They've got the 21-year-old Evan Carter hitting third in Game 7 of the championship series. Boy, Adolis Garcia has certainly taken on the villain role in this series and thrived in it. Garber has broken out. So is Jonah Heim with a home run yesterday. Low bat 7th. Josh Young, the third baseman, took Christian Javier deep earlier in this series, and Leody Taveras is in center field, hitting 9. On the mound for the Astros, the 26-year-old from La Victoria, Dominican Republic, who won Game 3 of the championship series, and again, John showed the perfect pulse for the postseason.
He's unbelievable, and he's unbelievable with his fastball. He's got obviously great usage, and he's got the slider and curveball along with a changeup. But here's the key. He throws fastballs, and he doesn't throw them for strikes very often, but he gets outs behind in the count and outs with his fastball. Somebody has to change that narrative. Who will impose their will? Will it be his fastball, or will the Rangers finally get on top of a heater?
Take a look at tonight's FanDuel Live same-game parlay. Mitch Garber homered in yesterday's game. Jeremy Pena, the Astros would love to get going. Last year's CS and World Series MVP has had a tough go of it. All right, John, Game 7 is different. I mean, you can play in a million postseason games, but Game 7 is different. You pitched in 3 of them. What's it take to thrive in a Game 7?
You know what it takes? I actually have a little acronym that I played off the word 7. You've got to have a slow heartbeat. You've got to be able to handle your emotions in check. Your vision. What is your vision like? Are you locked in? Is it tunnel-like? And you've got to enjoy the moment, because if you don't, then that means there's too much pressure. The nerves. How do you handle the nerves? Is it normal? And all these things in one big bucket. It's a time of a lifetime for somebody to be a hero, because somebody will be a hero tonight. Who takes their walks? Who plays it straight? and actually executes within this game.
The guy on the mound they call El Reptile for how cold-blooded he is. Making his first Game 7 start. He's only fortified that reputation that he got in the minors since getting here to the big leagues. And he's got his catcher with a nod to him, wearing the snakeskin reptile cleats as he gets back there to catch Javier. All eyes on the great state of Texas for this gift of a Game 7. The battle for Texas, the battle for the pennant, and off we go in Game 7. A fastball is upstairs, 1-0 on Marcus Semien.
Top of the zone. That's where he's going to go. What is so unique about him, normally when you pitch behind in the count, especially in a Game 7, you're in trouble. Not so much for Christian Javier.
He took a no-hitter into the 5th in Game 3. Ground ball to short, Jeremy Pena. One gone in this first inning. Take a look at the umpiring crew for Game 7. There is Dan Bellino behind home plate. He has a small strike zone, and a pitcher on the mound, as you mentioned, John, who typically is not in the strike zone a lot, gets ready to face off with Corey Seager.
One of the things for tonight, it usually won't be a big thing with the Rangers because they don't run, they don't steal, but you got a guy on the mound that gives up a lot of stolen bases. You've got to be aggressive in the right situations to put pressure on the home team.
Yeah, Corey Seager always is one of the best hitters in baseball. And he looked like that through the first 2 rounds of these playoffs, hitting .500, but he's at just .192 in this championship series. On this 1-0 from Javier, Seager hits a high fly ball, deep right field, a bomb in the first.
Right away, a statement. Right away, shock value. I talked about, can the Rangers get on top of the fastball? They haven't all series. Watch where this pitch is. It is at the top of the zone. And I'm telling you right now, when you think about where that pitch is and that location of the strike zone, he crushes it. He has been popping them up. Statement 1 goes to the Rangers.
Corey Seager, who might win AL MVP if it's not for Shohei Ohtani, shows up in a big way in the first inning of Game 7. Now here's Evan Carter. John, you talk about the pulse in the postseason. How about a kid coming to the plate here who 2 months ago was in Double-A? He just turned 21. He has not looked phased to this point, though.
Yeah, he has been unbelievable. I mean, you've got the young and the old, and what I mean by that is an older veteran in Brantley. They have the same approaches, but Brantley has so many years of just experience. This guy, not so much, but he acts like he's a veteran.
Yeah, 2 months ago today, Evan Carter was hitting third, but for the Frisco Rough Riders in the Texas League. And now hitting third for the Rangers as they look for their first trip to the World Series in 12 years. Three balls, 1 strike.
I just can't tell you, when you get to a game like this, it's about imposing your will. And if a starting pitcher imposes his will, he puts the offense on defense, really, on the defense in the box. Right away, you're seeing a tight strike zone, a hitter's strike zone, and the stuff in the zone is going to be crucial. And I already talked about Javier doesn't throw as many strikes. This was a planned attack. Seager was looking to hit a fastball up, and he did it in the best way you can.
And his wife, Maddie, watching that thing fly out. No question about where it was headed. Into the second deck here in Houston. And speaking of hitting it hard, John, here comes Adolis Garcia, who had a grand slam in the 9th inning yesterday to continue this roller coaster of a championship series.
No doubt. And the right guys on first base. Look for the stolen base. Again, you've got to push the gas and take advantage when someone is not very good at holding runners and stolen bases. Look for Carter at some point in this inning to go.
Stole a base yesterday. And again, to your point, Javier's given up 22 stolen bases in 25 tries this year. Focus right here, though, on the man at the plate, Adolis Garcia. I mean, have you ever seen a guy walk up to the plate wearing the golden sombrero, having struck out 4 times, and with the crowd booing him the way it was, and then he unloads on a game-sealing grand slam.
Well, he finally made a short stroke, and up until that point, everything was swinging from his heels.
There goes Carter, swing and a miss. Still from Maldonado, not in time, and a stolen base for Carter.
Well, by the swing and miss, that had to keep Maldonado back. He couldn't race out to go get the ball. He's got to wait back. And a great jump. And a stolen base.
Puts him into scoring position for a guy in Adolis Garcia who's knocked in 15 in this postseason. On a 1-1 from Javier, Garcia fouls it back. He had one to hit there.
You can tell emotionally Garcia wants to hit the ball to the moon. And he tried that the first 4 times. But mechanically, he cannot afford huge swing after huge swing, especially if they're going to attack him at the top of the zone.
As you can hear from these fans, he's taken on the role of the villain in this series. Villain in Houston, but he's turning into a legend for Rangers fans. Seager has already homered in this first inning. Carter's at second with 1 away as Javier brings a 1-2 to Adolis Garcia.
Ball 2.
Now, Javier has dominated in the postseason. 4 postseason starts in his career. He's won them all. And numbers that make you do a double take. Hitters are 5 for 70 against Javier in his starts in October. His 2-2 spins away, not close.
Well, there are so many numbers that's just dominant. I mean, 2, 3, 4 hitters all the way through. He has a gift, and that fastball is his gift. Right now, he's not commanding it as well as he should and throwing enough strikes.
Here's his payoff. Garcia gets up on it, drives it to left, back it goes, off the wall. Carter read it well. Here he comes. 2-0 Texas in the first. Adolis Garcia's tear continues.
I'm not so sure he would have got a double, but he was admiring it as if it was a home run. A good read to your point about Carter. He got on top of it. He thought it was gone. He's standing there now. That doesn't play well when you could be at second base. And again, this has been an emotional series for him, an emotional game 7. And he thought he had it.
That's when you got to remember right there. Put a little mark on your score sheet.
Yep. It wasn't a guarantee he was going to get the second, but it was a guarantee he wasn't going to get the second
if he did that.
When he did that.
John, what was it that Bruce Bochy said was the #1 thing he wanted to happen in this game?
Yeah, he wanted early runs because he wanted to be able to have that leash a little longer.
There goes Garcia. They're picking on Javier. He's stolen second. Not a team that runs a bunch, and so 2 stolen base attempts in the first inning is like, wow.
And you get that totally redeem yourself. He gets the second base now. But that's what you have to do. And these are the moments right now that get exposed bigger than ever. And a 1-game winner all go on to the World Series.
Mitch Garver hit a home run yesterday. A ball 1 strike on the veteran DH.
Look, I haven't been doing this for 20 years, but for the last 10 years, I've never seen crowds get taken out of ballparks like we've seen in this series. Every single crowd on the road side has taken out their home crowd because they've scored and they've taken something away from them. And Texas has done it really all postseason. They've won every single road game. How do you explain that?
Unbelievable. 7-0 these Rangers are, and the road team in this series unbeaten. Throwing it back to the 2019 World Series. 2-2 on Garver. When you finished that up and he said, that'll never happen again.
Yeah, I mean, there's no chance. I said after Washington and Houston played an epic World Series and no home wins, I said, mark this down as something you'll never see again.
Here comes the 2-2. Garver lifts it to center field. McCormick a step back at first. Now comes on, and that ball's going to fall. In center field it falls, and Garcia's headed home. The throw is not in time. It's 3-0 Rangers. Garcia finds himself in position to take advantage of that lapse in defense thanks to his stolen base. And everything going the Rangers' way in the first inning of Game 7.
And you are not kidding. The defending champs are on their heels right now. I mean, this ball, big swing, and nobody read it. And Brantley's trying to charge hard, and he can't get there, and it hits off his shoulder. And that allowed the runner to score. That couldn't be a worse start for Houston, and especially with the pitcher they have on the mound. Because now it's getting very difficult for Dusty Baker to trust his stud in the first inning, and it's 3-0.
Yeah, keep in mind on that play there, one of the decisions for Dusty Baker was who to play in center field. He went Chas McCormick over Mauricio Dubon, who is the better defensive center fielder. And McCormick, on what looked like a routine fly ball, didn't even get close to it. They've got the bullpen going. Maton loosening in the first inning.
Well, he reads it perfectly, and at this point, once it bounces away, easy wave in, but the throw coming home allowed the runner to go to second. Another mistake. And right now, Houston's got to find a way to get 2 more outs.
Officially ruled a single for Garver. Advances on the throw. Here's Heim. John, you talk about a lot of times the Stars are going to have a hard time making a huge impact in the biggest games. Well, how about the last couple games as Garver and Heim have combined for 7 hits down at the bottom of the order, including 2 home runs last night.
I mean, it's really, again, it's almost expect the unexpected in this series. Guys get cold, don't think that bottom of the lineup can do anything. And then the 2 home runs the opposite way. Granted, I love the stat that in only 2 parks it would have been home runs, but guess what? This was one of them.
It was his first opposite field home run of the year. Now, the Rangers offense, the top offense in the American League, one of the things that has made them such is how they tailor their plan, line up wide to whoever they're facing. And they did so last night, beating Valdez. 0-2 to Heim. Shot through the left side. That's another base hit. Garver to third. Texas at the corners. In 4 postseason starts coming into this game in his career, Christian Javier had given up 5 hits. He's given up 4 in the first inning here.
Yeah, I'll say this. Give Texas some credit. They got a game plan, and they knocked out Javier in a place where no one could have anticipated based on his resume and his success. But it's a short outing for one of the coolest customers in the rotation.
Texas Rangers have defied logic all season long, especially here in October. They've bounced back from the Game 5 soul punch to force this Game 7 and made a statement right away. Rangers trying to keep their perfect road record going in this postseason. The only team that's ever started a postseason with 8 consecutive wins on the road, the Yankees in '96 at the start of their dynasty. It's Maton on the first low, and a first pitch curveball at the knees, strike one. How in the world is Dusty Baker going to get through this game now?
Well, he's got to go literally 1 inning at a time, of course, and he's got to hope his offense responds. I mean, this is only the top of the first, so you got 9 innings of offense, but you got to get out of this inning right now without any more damage.
Got first and third for Lowe. Chops it foul, and he's quickly ahead 0-2. Maton's had a good postseason. He's pitched in 5 games, not giving up a run, including a 1-2-3 inning last night. And on for the bottom of the lineup here. Garver's at third, Himes at first. Maton's 0-2.
Outside.
Well, it's definitely a shock to the system, but the one thing about the Houston Astros is they can score too, and they can put. This has been a series of the crooked numbers, just another version of what these teams can do and how quickly they can do it in an inning.
And again, they got to look on the other side and see a massive wild card in Max Scherzer, who, yeah, he's got 3 Cy Youngs, but he's only pitched once in the last month and a half, and it didn't go well. Maton's 1-2. He is swung on and miss. He strikes out low. Big second out right there.
That's a huge second out. You feel good if you're Texas and you got 3 runs on the board, but you wanted to get another one with contact. They struck out without a chance to drive in that run. And there's the unexplainable. Again, expect the unexpected in this series. This is one of those chalk it up reverse trends, I guess you could say.
2 on 2 out for the rookie Josh Young. You said last night you were going to because you've done this before in a Game 7 broadcast. Use your papers as a prop and just chuck them out of the booth so you do all the prep, and then who knows?
Yeah, because you don't know how and who's going to come out and deliver under the moment.
Maton to Young. Well, Young started that 5-run 9th inning last night with a 10-pitch battle against Rafael Montero that ended in a walk. One of those many plate appearances in this series that has had some iconic swings that you'll always remember, but that quietly led up to him. Scored those 5 runs and put the game away. Now the chase, strikes 1 and 2.
And that's been his kryptonite. They've thrown a lot of pitches away to him with breaking balls. Now, of course, he got 2 home runs in that game the last time Javier pitched.
Maton trying to strand the 2 that he inherits. Fires 1-2. There goes the runner from first. Himes going to steal second. And a Rangers team that had 3 stolen bases over the first 6 games of this championship series has 3 in the first tonight. Deuce is wild in the first. 2-2. Got him with the high fastball. Excellent work there by Maton to strand 2, but what a start from Texas.